Hi guys, this is Dan from the Investment ABC, and in this video I'm going to name you 6 of my favorite crash gurus and also which crash guru is going to be right in regards to what will happen next in my opinion. I only named them here crash gurus for the YouTube algorithm. I have great respect for these economists and I'm still learning a lot from them. Here we go. Number 1. The most famous crash guru is most likely Peter Schiff from Euro Pacific Capital. Peter is a gold bug and a dollar bear. He is investing in gold and gold mining stocks for his clients and in foreign currencies. He predicted the 2008 financial crisis and the current crisis of 2020. Peter is very bearish on the US dollar and believes that ultimately the US dollar will go into hyperinflation when foreign countries are dumping the US treasuries. Furthermore, he's very bearish on Bitcoin and is using every possibility to bash it. He's a real Twitter warrior and a great economist, and I agree on many things he's saying. The only thing I would criticize is his timing. His predictions were too early, so that if you would have listened to him, you would have missed out on a lot of gains in the US equity markets. The US equity markets were outperforming almost all other equity markets around the world since many years. The second crash guru is Mike Maloney from goldsilver.com. Mike made, similar to Peter, some really astonishing calls. For example, his prediction from 2010 on $10 oil. Mike is predicting that after the financial crisis of 2008, the economy would go into a real deflation and that central banks would try to counter deflation with unprecedented actions of currency creation. In my opinion, we are exactly in the deflation phase Mike is talking about, and at the moment, central banks and governments around the globe are throwing money at every existing zombie company. Mike is further saying that these central bank actions will ultimately lead to hyperinflation. He also created one of the best series on the history of gold and money, the Hidden Secrets of Money series. Mike is also advocating to buy silver over gold due to the historic high gold to silver ratio. Our third crash guru is Martin Armstrong from Armstrong Economics. You may know him from the movie The Forecaster. Martin developed Socrates, an AI computer system which is predicting the economic turning points. Socrates was fed with huge amounts of historic data so that the forecast should be as accurate as possible. Since I have been following Martin, he is saying that the gold bugs and hyperinflationists are wrong and that the US won't go into an hyperinflation since no other debt market is big enough to absorb the liquidity. He is saying that hyperinflation is happening in the peripheries, for example emerging markets, and not in the core of an economic system which is the US, so that the US dollar should rise and not fall. He is also saying that gold will together with other assets only accelerate its price increase once the confidence of the average citizen in governments fail. This is also the reason why Martin is predicting ever increasing stock market prices since investors will flee the bond market and go into private assets like stocks. Our fourth crash guru is Ray Dalio, the co-founder of one of the biggest hedge funds in the world, Bridgewater Associates. Dalio is saying that the economy is working like a machine with different credit cycles. Currently, the short-term business credit cycle, which lasts normally 7 to 10 years, and also the long-term credit cycle, which lasts 100 years, are both coming to an end. In the final stages of the long-term debt cycle, the interest rates are at a record low, so that the central banks can't jumpstart the economy by decreasing rates. The Fed has to use other tools like quantitative easing or MMT to increase consumer spending. If you haven't watched Ray Dalio's How the Economic Machine Works, please do so. It is maybe the best video on YouTube to understand how our economy really works and what is driving asset prices. It is really a must-watch for everyone interested in the economy and finance. In fifth place are Martin North and John Adams. Both are Australian economists who are operating the YouTube channel in the interests of the people. Martin North also has his own YouTube channel, Digital Finance Analytics, where he talks about the Australian economy and property market. Martin and John are both predicting property prices to decline in Australia by roughly 40%. In my opinion, they will be most likely right. I also made many videos on the Australian property market and explained why I think a property price decline of 40% is highly probable. My last favorite crash guru is Gammon. George has his own YouTube channel, which is in my opinion maybe the best and entertaining channel on macroeconomics. If you want to understand how the Fed charade is working and how the printing of that much money will affect the economy, his channel is the perfect place to go to. It is a real must to understand our monetary system to be able to profit from it. All of these economists have a slightly different view on how everything will play out for the economy, but they have one thing in common, which is that we are heading into rough times. In my opinion, we will see a paradigm shift after the crisis we are facing now. The Fed injected trillions into the economy, which at some point will ultimately lead to a worldwide hyperinflation, in my opinion. But before that happens, it looks like we will see a deflationary period first. People around the globe are losing their jobs and small companies are going out of business. Those people remaining with a job will be so afraid of losing their jobs that they will most likely cut spending significantly. The question for us as investors is to find out how long this deflationary period lasts before we see inflation picking up. The central banks can't decrease interest rates anymore without going negative. What they do is increasing QE while governments will directly deposit stimulus payments into the accounts of their citizens. The question is, will the people hoard the money or start spending it, and if they are spending it, on what will they spend it? In my opinion, it will take at least some time before the velocity of money slowly increases. But if it does, I'm expecting necessities to increase a lot. On the other hand, if central banks are still injecting more currency into the system while the velocity of money picks up, all asset prices might increase no matter how overvalued they might seem. What is interesting now is that before this current crisis, 99.5% of the people were oblivious to the flaws of our economic system and that this system has to collapse at some point. But now, after the events we are facing, more and more have the time to think about what is going on, and with the help of the alternative media, information is spreading fast. At some point, we will reach a critical number of people who lose trust in the governments and the current system, which will just accelerate the downfall. No one knows 100% exactly when the current system is transitioning into a new one, but the signs are on the wall, and whatever happens will happen so fast that most people won't be able to react to. Therefore, the best thing to do is to be as diversified as possible, take advantage of opportunities in the stock markets in case the system continues, while at the same time being prepared with gold, silver, Bitcoin and cash. So the time to learn about finance and educate yourself and to take actions is exactly right now, guys. If you love at least one of my favorite crash gurus, smash the like button, share this video and subscribe. Also tell me who your favorite crash guru is and I will definitely check them out. Bye guys and see you in the next one.